When the solar system was in decline, the aliens from planet Akirov used their advanced technology to make the Earth's land, water, and atmosphere clean again. Earth was at peace until an Akirovian plot to subjugate Earth was discovered. This started the Akirovian Wars, and the humans used heavy dolls in order to fight against the invasion. 40 years have passed since our victory in the Akirovian Wars, and our military might is more powerful than ever. The heavy dolls have been replaced with cams, cybernetic anthropomorphic machines. Yet as we approach the 23rd century, the planet is on the verge of extinction. In desperate search of resources, exploratory missions were launched toward the far reaches of the galaxy. But one by one, our interplanetary probes were mysteriously disappearing. We have reason to believe that Akirovs have broken the treaty and are once again on the warpath. It's up to you to pilot the cam and save the planet from total devastation. Black Hole Assault was released on the Sega CD in 1992. This is the sequel to the infamous Heavy Nova that was released on both the Mega CD and the Sega Genesis. From a glance, Black Hole Assault seems like a huge step up. The graphics are more colorful and detailed, the controls feel way better, and the gameplay became much faster compared to Heavy Nova. There's also the addition of changing the game's speed by pausing, and cutscenes that have voice acting.
Yet the first attack occurred near Venus. How could they get that far in so little time?
While Black Hole Assault did make many improvements, it didn't do enough to become a big hit. The gameplay at its core is very basic, yet it's still filled with flaws and rules that don't make sense. But before I go over them, let's go over the controls. For this game, you'll only need a 3-button controller. A will punch, B will kick, and C will throw. You can attack while standing, crouching, or jumping, and you can perform stronger moves under the right conditions. Black Hole Assault is a fighting game that has no blocking. Because of this, getting good at offense is mandatory in order to get far. At the bottom of the screen is your health, stamina, and a timer. When your stamina is high, you will deal more damage and you can perform a unique move by pressing punch when far away from the opponent. If you have low stamina, you deal slightly less damage overall and it will be easier for the opponent to knock you down with basic attacks. Speaking of attacking, the attack you perform will not only depend on the button, but it can also depend on the distance. For example, side quest will perform a crouch kick if you press down plus B at close range, but if you do this at mid range, it will instead perform a boost kick that will only land against standing opponents. Some characters can perform moves by doing a motion, or by pressing certain buttons back to back. Using side quest as an example again, it can uppercut by punching the opponent 3 times in a row. This won't happen if a punch misses or if you hold a direction during each punch. If you want to uppercut immediately, you can instead perform a quarter circle motion forward, then press A in order to perform it at will. The moves that can be done for motion tend to be the strongest since they can be used to do things that aren't possible otherwise, such as cancelling animations, or even infinite combos that deal damage equal to the first hit.
Bruh.
Lastly, I should talk about how throwing works. Some characters can only throw standing opponents, while some can throw standing and crouching opponents. Throws are really fast in this game, but thankfully there's a way to recover. If the opponent throws you, immediately press and hold down plus A in order to land safely. This will prevent the throw from dealing damage. I'll go over some aspects during the long play, but if you want a full guide that goes over everything in this game, you can check out the link in the description below. Without further ado, let's start Black Hole Assault.
The year 2160 AD. It is a time when Earth's technology enables mankind to send spaceships on missions to other planets. The Earth's population and its accompanying urbanization created a need for raw materials in the building of skyscrapers and underground cities. Eventually, the planet's natural resources were unable to meet the demand of its growing population. And in order to solve mankind's need for natural resources, a number of exploratory missions have been sent to other planets in search of valuable raw materials. Mission 0627, having encountered numerous obstacles, had finally reached the outer edge of Saturn. The journey has been long and arduous.
Did you hear about the Jupiter mission? Headquarters still hasn't received a transmission from them, and they're already a week late.
Their transmitter is probably broken down. No big deal. It happens all the time.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about it. Something's not right.
You get scared at the first signs of trouble. You can't take the heat. Why don't you get out of the kitchen?
Hey, I can take the heat. What about you?
Hey, the radar reports multiple unidentified objects heading our way. This doesn't look good.
Oh, boy. Oh, no!
Alright, and this is my long play of Black Hole Assault. Now, unlike my speedrun, I did try my best not to resort to the overpowered elbow, so I did find some strats for defeating the CPU otherwise. And the options here, everything seems good. If you play on easy, you only get 4 fights and there will be no ending, so that's why you have to play on normal. And the F trap, which is called Field Trap, I'll explain that in a bit, because it affects each stage, well, some of the stages, not all of them. And of course, the animation is the story, which I'll leave to on. And yeah, coming up is the first cutscene.
This is Space Station DEFCON 2, calling Explorer 627. Come in. I repeat, this is Space Station DEFCON 2, calling Explorer 627. Come in. I repeat, this is Space Station DEFCON 2, calling Explorer 627. Come in. Explorer 627, come in. Captain, I still can't get any response from Explorer 627. I think we've lost contact. That's the 3rd this week, 5 over the last month.
Another mission lost. That explorer was last reported near the outer rim of Saturn, yet the first attack occurred near Venus. How could they get that far in so little time? And how can headquarters see these as accidents when they're obviously alien attacks? Those fools back home have no idea what's actually going on. They're out of touch. I'm certain that these losses in communication are due to alien attacks. Our solar system is being infiltrated by a ruthless and hostile alien force. Something's got to be done. Now. I'm going up to the command room and stir things up a little. We've lost another ship with no trace. There's no question that these are attacks by an alien force. It started at the outer edges of the solar system, and now they're heading toward Earth. Immediate action is our only hope. What is it going to take to get you to...
All right. I'll contact Earth headquarters and see what we can do. After a preliminary inquiry, we'll contact you and let you know the results of our...
Shut up! Just get to it, sir.
Captain, we've just received the report on the alien infiltration. Based on the current situation, shall we stand by Code Red?
That's affirmative, Major. So far, 3 of our vessels have already been destroyed. We cannot allow these unprovoked hostilities to continue unchallenged. The sooner we can launch an attack, the better. Make preparations immediately.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Attention, CAM fighter pilots. You are the last hope for humanity's survival. The attack order has finally been issued. The enemy is brutal. They attacked our unarmed exploration vessels. Your mission is to wipe them out of the galaxy. Proceed to Venus. I will follow close behind in the flagship Recon. Make courage and strength be with you.
Alright, so the first fight takes place on Venus, and this is a pretty easy fight because this opponent is unable to crouch. Now, I did go about this fight in a very interesting way. I wanted to just do nothing but dash attacks, like when you dash into them. But oh, I didn't even get to explain dashing in the intro. I hope I did, but just in case I didn't, the way dashing works is you tap forward twice, and when you hold forward on the second press, your robot will dash. And when you go into them, you actually do like a body bash, which deals damage. Now, I had a fight, like, when I did this a few days ago, like, it always worked against this opponent, but when I tried it this time, he kept throwing me out of it. But that's fine, there is a backup strat, so there are 3 ways, really just one way to deal with most opponents, outside of the elbow, of course. The main way is to just, I mentioned that when you hit an enemy while their stamina is low, it's easier to knock them down. The way you loop pretty much every opponent in the game is you get their stamina low. Oh yeah, I think I changed the speed to fast because I'm so used to playing on fast speed that was throwing me off. So the way you do this is when the opponent has low stamina, you just punch them, and right when they're about to get up, you wanna punch them again, and it's just an infinite loop over and over. It's kind of hard to time, but once you get used to it, it's pretty good. Now, because this opponent can't crouch, the boost kick is actually really good. It's done by pressing a down plus kick, like a crouch kick while you're at mid range, and it's very easy to defeat him because after this opponent, they'd usually just dodge the boost kick by ducking. But because the first opponent couldn't, then like you might as well spam it there. And yeah, it's around this fight where you really have to get used to like looping the opponent by punching them while their stamina is low. And you're gonna see me do that a lot for this playthrough. So yeah, there's not a lot to explain with this game since it's pretty basic. And yeah, you can see right here I'm just trying to like loop the punch. There it is. And coming up is another cutscene right after this fight, so hopefully I'll see you after that.
Hey, bro, you don't look so hot. Why don't you eat something? Here, catch.
Thanks. Hey, have you heard about the Asteroid's new Urchin series robots? Rumor has it they're really tough to beat.
Yeah, the word is we're gonna run into them on our next mission on Mars.
Yeah, I hear they got a killer reach, and you can't keep your distance from them.
In addition to that, their punches are more lethal than anything we've encountered before. Supposedly, it swoops down on you and slashes your circuits.
How can you combat something like that? There's got to be a weakness in their design somewhere. Finding it is our only chance.
Well, if it's got a weakness, we'll find it.
Yeah. If we can stay alive that long.
Okay, so the third fight. Now, something I didn't get to mention with the first fight is that the field trap will it's pretty much a gimmick for certain planets. So for the first planet, which is Venus, there's just a random chance that like your stamina would drop to 0, which is weird. I don't know when or why it happens. Same thing for the opponent. The gimmick of this stage, or I should say the field trap, is it's low gravity. And it's a complete pain to fight on because you slide all over the place when you land. And if you back up, you immediately trip. So you can't back up unless you jump, and it's really messy if you try to play this normally. You can do it, but I don't know. So for this fight, I think this fight was really close too. What I was trying to do here is I was trying to just like shoot him during the claw attack he's doing, but I was just like getting really bad timings. Another way to deal with this fight is like what you just saw there. You can just try to kick him as he's coming forward. And two things will happen. You either get the crouch kick, which can still hit him, or you get the boost kick and hopefully he goes right into it. Now yeah, this fight was really close. I think it was because I was missing the boost kicks, and something I didn't mention, I bet, is when you press A full screen for most characters, not for all characters, but if you have like a projectile, not only does it cost stamina to use, like it'll make your stamina turn red, but it also takes a bar of health away, and if you have 1 bar of health, you can't use it anymore. So that will become a problem later because I think I get close to like 1 bar of health. But yeah, other than that, I do hold my ground and I do get through this fight. This guide has been brought to you by Captain America and the Avengers. That's right, the arcade blockbuster hit is now available on the Sega Genesis. From my experience with this one, it seems that Captain America himself is the best character. Kinda weird considering Iron Man is the best character for getting through the arcade version. I haven't put a ton of time into both versions, so take it with a grain of salt. Now let's continue with Black Hole Assault. Alright, this is stage 4, which is Dark 501. Stage 2 doesn't have a field trap. So far it's been stage 1 and 3. This is stage 4, and the field trap for this is you pretty much jump higher, like you stay in the air longer, which isn't too bad. Now, again, similar to Fight 2, it's really basic. You kind of just want to get used to looping at this point when they have low stamina. Of course, you gotta get their stamina low first, or you can just have them shoot a projectile and then try to go in. And then once you get their stamina low, you just want to keep looping them with attacks, like this right here. And I think it was here that like I kind of got tired of it because like I was just trying to loop this guy, but I got a little impatient. So to prevent myself from losing a life, or I should say from continuing, I started resorting to the elbow, which should happen soon. There it is. So if you haven't seen the speedrun, this is all you need to do for every single fight. It's cheap, but so is the AI. Oh, and you're definitely gonna see that later, but first up is another cutscene.
Lethal enemy liberators have been decimated. Cam's ready to beam aboard.
CAM Force has obliterated the enemy's frontline bases with missions on Venus, Mars, and its asteroid Phobos. Having successfully completed their missions, they now head to the outer space reaches of the solar system, to Jupiter. It is in this area that one of the exploratory missions vanished. It is also highly probable that an enemy base is located in this vicinity. Captain Grain issues a report.
As you can see from the preliminary reports, it's almost certain the enemy has established a supply base and command post near the planet Saturn. Now, based on the reconnaissance data, that we have gathered, our strategy will require more prudent combat tactics. We have just received reconnaissance reports that will help us with our next mission. Lieutenant Haig is here to explain. Lieutenant?
As you're well aware, in our previous missions, we've encountered Akarov forces that have focused on strength as opposed to speed and agility. And that has all changed now. Reconnaissance now reports that the Akarovs have an even more lethal weapon. We have codenamed this weapon Ghostwalker. In comparison to our cams, which operate on regulated fusion power cells, the Ghostwalkers run on some sort of multi-fusion reactor. As a result, the Ghostwalkers can move up to speeds which exceed that of our cams for a short period of time. It's obvious that our hover packs will play a key role in this battle.
Does the data indicate any weakness?
Because of the limited information we have received to date, we're relying on you to find that out.
And without this information, our chances of winning against the Akarovs will be all but lost. I know you're all good fighters, and I trust your skills will allow us to overcome any obstacles we may face in our next battle. Thank you for the briefing, Lieutenant Haig. Our next briefing will be at 0900 hours, before arrival at Leda. What is it?
Enemy attack from the asteroid Leda, sir. We do not have a fix on their numbers.
I need the facts, Major, now! Well, I guess the Akarovs couldn't wait.
Preparation complete. Request permission to attack.
Captain, seek permission to attack.
You idiot, just go!
Cam 0043, launch attack.
Roger.
I pray you come back in one piece.
And now stage 6 is Ghostwalker, and I think it was here that I want to show off like just the input reading the AI does, or at least like just how cheap they can get if you don't resort to like cheap tactics yourself. Now Ghostwalker is interesting because if he presses A while full screen, it will zip across and go behind you. There is a way to deal with this. What you're supposed to do is I don't know if I do it here, but you're supposed to like jump back, and then right when you're about to land, you kick, and it should land. And I don't know if I do that for this fight. Oh yeah, I just show it off here where like if I try to dash into it, it just immediately draw me. Show that a few more times. Yep. And you can see me trying to tech the draw, which is done by down plus A. Just hold it. And yeah, this fight is just it's ridiculous if you don't have a strategy for it. That's all I can say. It's really hard, but once you know what to do, it's actually not that bad. So I think it's here that I'm just going to start winning, to put it bluntly. And like, look at the jumping. So yeah, just go back to the elbow. But if you just saw right there, I did actually jump back and kick it. It's harder to do as side quest because it has like a high kick, but it's easier to do as Orion because it has a jumping knee, which has like a small, like the hitbox is a bit more downward. And now coming up is the 6th fight, which is against a Locust. Now, stage... I hope I didn't call Ghostwalker stage 6. That would be pretty embarrassing. But anyways, Ghostwalker was stage 5. This is stage 6. Now, this stage has a field trap, which is very obnoxious. You see fire erupts from the ground. And similar to the moon, when you back up, if you're on this fire, when you... If you're near the fire, you're just tripped, and there are times where you can actually trip. Look, right there, I tripped twice, like. Anyways, from here on out, I recommend you use Orion. You don't have to, you can still beat this game as side quest, but it's much easier as Orion. So the trick for this fight is, well, outside of the elbow, obviously, you want to just stick to jump attacks. It's very effective. It's difficult to face this opponent on the ground because he has very long range with his head. basically just stick to jump kicks and you should be good, and after this fight will be a cutscene.
The flagship Recon, having narrowly escaped an Akarovian surprise attack, has docked with their supply ship. But due to an attack from enemy bases on Jupiter's asteroids Leda and Io, they are soon sent back into battle. Without rest or refueling, the Cam Force wins, but the crew is weary.
It looks like the supplies have finally arrived.
Yeah, we might finally get a break between here and Saturn.
Boy, that's a relief. So how many of those Akarovian junk jobs did you waste?
More than I can count, but who cares? We're alive, right?
Hey, do you know him?
Yeah. He hasn't missed a single shot at those Akarovian lethal liberators. On top of that, rumor has it that he's indestructible.
Yeah, right. You expect me to believe that?
Captain, this report just came in.
Let's hear it.
We have learned the location of the command base from the Akarovian prisoner that we have been interrogating.
Good. Let's bring it up on the screen.
The Akarov command base is on one of Saturn's moons, Titan. All Akarovian orders are transmitted from this location. This base is guarded by a new offensive weapon codenamed Whiplash. Reports indicate that this new weapon shoots black holes at its opponent. This causes a massive energy drain to the opponent's system and can render them virtually powerless with a few shots.
Good work, Major. You're dismissed. We have come to this final showdown. If we destroy the bases on Titan and Rhea, the Akarovs will be obliterated, and our mission will be complete. We are the only ones who can bring peace to our solar system.
Alright, so coming up is the final two bosses, and I don't think any of these two stages have field traps, so just pick whoever you want. For this, I picked SideQuest, and this boss is interesting because it can't crouch, it can't jump, it can't duck, it can't even dash. So it's very slow, but the thing is that it has a black hole. If it activates it from full screen, it will like drag you in. And it does have a good amount of damage as well. So what you're supposed to do here is land jump kicks, and once the stamina is low, you can go full screen and just chuck projectiles. Because when you hit it with a projectile, its stamina goes low, and you should recharge fast enough to shoot another, and you just repeat the loop. Very easy. And again, if that's too much work, you can always just resort to the elbow, assuming you know how to do the motion. And yeah, already we're getting close to the final boss. Not much I need to say about this boss as well, because when his first form, all you gotta do is jump in, knee, and then jump back. And then his second form, you just keep jumping back and forth with jump kicks, and that is it. And yeah, let this play out, and I'll see you at the credits.
Thanks to the valiant efforts of our brave and courageous fighters, the Earth is once again free from the oppressive forces of the Acheros.
Recon to headquarters. Mission complete. We're heading home.
Headquarters to Recon 2. President sends his congratulations to the best crew in the fleet. Well done, guys. We eagerly await your return. Headquarters, out.
And that was Black Hole Assault. I'm gonna be real, this ain't it. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, granted, this was like what? Like the second game? This is the third game I played from Micronet. That's a fighting game, or Big Net, whatever you want to call them. This came out after Heavy Nova and before Revengers of Vengeance. Now, obviously I prefer Revengers of Vengeance, which isn't saying much since that game has its own share of problems. But this game is just like... it's really boring. Like, I'm probably not gonna go back to this after I'm done with this video, but like... there's just not much to do in this game. Like, it looks cool, the cutscenes are rad, the music is great. I like how it looks, but the gameplay is just like, you can play it, I guess. Multiplayer wise, I wouldn't mind playing this with someone, but single player wise, I'd rather play Heavy Nova. And it just comes down to like, it took more effort to defeat the CPUs because of like, you know, the weird controls and like how you had to time all your attacks, and the side-scrolling stages. But yeah, I don't have much else to say. I hope you enjoyed the long play, and with that said, I'll see you later.